As the death toll rises, half of all BC's deaths occurred last month. There's new reason to recognize COVID-19 is vastly different from the flu. In the past 10 months, more British Columbians have died from COVID than an entire decade of flu deaths. CTV's Penny Daflos has the story.
The Lynn Valley Care Centre in North Vancouver was the site of Canada's first COVID death 10 months ago. The shock of that first fatality has worn off, and some skeptics even continue to question the pandemic.
This is a celebration of our rights and freedoms.
But the reality is, over the course of an entire decade, from 2009 to 2019, 874 people have died from the flu in British Columbia. 954 have already died from COVID in under a year.
COVID is a pandemic like we've never seen before. This is once in a lifetime event.
That being said, this UBC professor points out flu deaths are likely underreported.
We don't test everyone for flu.
While the symptoms may be similar, experts emphasize COVID is much more contagious and it is deadlier, especially for seniors. And when you put the two under the microscope, it is very clear COVID and the flu are very different.
I could understand if it's simply a symptomatic assessment, but this is a genetic fingerprint, and as a result, there is no ability to confuse influenza with COVID on these tests.
Death toll aside, it's also becoming clear influenza also doesn't compare when it comes to lingering health effects.
With COVID, we don't know yet what are the long-term consequences, but from what we do know, there are definitely respiratory complications that can linger for a very long time.
Further reason to avoid dismissing it as a more common illness. So far, the things we're doing to prevent COVID infections are also keeping flu viruses at bay and avoiding the twindemic some experts had feared. Penny Daflos, CTV News, Vancouver.